Warning, this podcast contains themes of extreme violence and murder. Subject matter may be offensive to some listeners. Discretion advised.
Welcome to another episode of Evil Transgression, your homicide headquarters here in podcasting. I'm Josh, and with me as always, Rex.
Hey, what's up?
So where's Dustin, you ask?
Oh, his vajayjay hurts.
Well, let's go ahead and read the message that he sent us on Thursday. That said, and this is a quote, actual words from Dustin. Someone could literally stand over top of me, spread their cheeks, and sit on my face, and I wouldn't be able to smell a thing. And you asked, to test your theory, which guy from work tried that on you? We never got a response from that one.
So busted.
But the whole thing was, we was like, hey, well, you're going to have to get tested, go ahead and test for COVID. If you got COVID, then don't come.
Right.
So he did test and it came back negative. So it's not COVID. It's just Dustin's a sissy.
That exactly. Yeah. Cause what was he blaming on, his sinuses now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it just slept too close to the crack.
Yeah. I mean, my allergies are jacked up right now, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So
sissy.
Yes.
I mean, not to pile on him, but
oh, he deserves it.
Yeah. Sissy.
Yes.
So, how was your week?
Well, let's see here. So, because of the rain, after rain, I kept putting off mowing my grass.
Yeah.
And I finally had some free time to do it. And of course, that was the day where it was like 35 degrees and super windy.
That'll teach you.
So, yeah, but I got it done. But the other problem was the lawnmower did not want to start at first, because it had been sitting for so long. And after about 35 pulls, finally fired up.
Nice. So you got to work out and got to cut your grass.
Exactly. What about you?
The whole lawnmower thing's funny because I have a riding mower, and every year it seems like my battery's dead on it. So it's like, do I buy a battery every year for this tractor? Or no, I push it around the entire yard to the front to jump in on the car battery like you're not supposed to. Just so I don't have to, because I'm a cheap guy.
Oh, yeah.
Cheapskate, apparently.
Just get one of those cheap trickle chargers.
I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to have to figure out why my tractor's not charging its battery.
Because, my car that I keep in the garage, during the winter, I keep a charger on that so it doesn't kill the battery.
The old Cobra?
Yes.
How is the Cobra?
Man, I haven't had it out yet. I need to. I actually need to go get the oil changed and then take Stacy for a ride. So hopefully here soon.
That will teach her.
Yeah, I've just been waiting on the weather to clear up,
It's Ohio, dude. It was what, like 40, 50 degrees last week? It's going to be 80 this weekend?
Yep, and then probably drop again to 50.
Yeah.
It's good times.
I love it.
Me too.
That's like you said, you were waiting to mow your grass because of the rain.
Yep.
And it was like 65 and rain. Then you get a day of 35. You come out on Monday morning and there was snow coming down. Like
there was. What? Crazy.
Now, if it wasn't Ohio, we would probably panic like, oh my God,
yeah.
Al Gore was right or something,
Right.
But let's go ahead and do some evil facts.
Yeah. Evil facts.
Notorious serial killer Albert Fish once wrote a letter to one of his victims' parents describing how tasty her body was.
What?
That's pretty messed up. That's not the letter you want to get out of your mailbox.
No, that's pretty sick.
That is definitely a sick dude. Albert Fish was like a child killer too.
Oh, yeah.
In 1922, 997 New Yorkers died of poisoning. the likelihood that these were murders is extremely high. Because forensic testing for poison was not widely practiced in police investigations, and because coroners could easily be bribed, a person might commit dozens of poisonings completely undetected.
Wow.
997 poisonings in 1 year in New York. Just in New York.
Right.
That is an awful lot. So there's probably a serial killer going around there, just poisoning the people and getting away with it. So here is, as true crime fanatics, we tend to think that most barbaric crimes are more of like a modern day thing, but that's not exactly true. In fact, one 19th century book, Lives of 12 Bad Men, and original studies of eminent scoundrels by various hands, details famous and ghastly murders which happened as early as 1536. Notable figures from the book include Matthew Hopkins, a self-styled witch finder who hanged more than 300 women, and Lord Lovat, a kidnapper and rapist.
Wow.
300 women. He was a witch finder.
That's crazy.
Back then there was like, if you sneeze the wrong way, she's a witch. She sneezed like two times in 10 seconds. She's a witch. Hang her.
I'm telling you, I think in other countries that still happens.
In our country, Salem, it was like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, you had the Salem witch trials where, like I said, it wasn't based really on anything. It was just, this lady acts weird, or this lady does this.
And then instantly.
Yeah. Well, she's a witch.
Yep.
We'll burn her at the stake. If she doesn't burn to death, then she's a witch. If she does, then she wasn't a witch. Or they did like where they would tie them to a board and stick them in the water, and if they drowned, they weren't witches. If they didn't drown, then they were witches.
Oh yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Crazy times.
You think after like 2, somebody would be like, I don't know if we
don't have this correct. Yeah.
We should not do this anymore because we've been wrong twice. I'll go ahead and give you one more.
Sweet.
A gentleman by the name of Sawney Bean. That's a crazy name.
Yeah,
Sawney, Sawney. He was from Western Scotland many, many years ago. He and his wife had a family of incestuous children for 25 years, like 25 years worth of incest kids.
Wow.
And they ambushed travelers who would roam Scotland's west coast. And the Beans would bring their victims back to their cave to kill, dismember, and eat them.
Wow.
As the story went, the clan would pickle any leftovers that they couldn't eat, but occasionally nearby villagers would find body parts washed up on the shore. Whether or not the story of Sawney Bean is historical or mythical is debated today, so it's hard to say exactly how true of a true crime story it is. It is well known enough to serve as the inspiration for the 1977 horror flick, The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, okay.
That's where that inspiration comes from.
I've seen it.
Sawney Bean. And that is your evil facts for the day.
Good stuff.
I made the mistake of watching another West Memphis 3 documentary. Yeah. And I just get all fired up watching them because I have like a strong opinion on it that is not popular with a lot of people with the West Memphis. I'm in the those dudes did it camp.
Yeah.
And so, but I watched this documentary and I'm like, man, I want to watch another one. I want to, because back in the day there was a website and I just found it again.
Oh, okay.
If you Google Callahan West Memphis 3, You can get access to all of the court documents, all the police records, all of, the transcriptions of interviews that they did.
Nice.
It has crime scene photos. It's got photos of the different residences, like Damien Eccles' house. And so it's like the rabbit hole of rabbit holes for me.
Yeah.
If I get into that website, then I can look at it for hours and hours. So I made the mistake, like I said, of watching this documentary, then joining a Facebook group about the West Memphis 3 and listening to people argue back and forth.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be doing some DNA testing. They had a breakthrough. There's a breakthrough procedure that they've come up with of testing DNA now. And it's it's like the MVAC or something. And it can pull very, very minuscule amounts of DNA off of evidence, like vacuuming it up and like touch DNA evidence, stuff like that. And there's a push now for them to try and do that with like the ligatures that they use to tie the boys up.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, what? I was like, man, I'm gonna listen to these people argue back and forth, and it just drives me nuts, man. It does. Because there's so, and somebody put it perfectly on this group. There was a post where they were talking, guilt and innocence, and these people they're passionate, man. They'll get into it, like, and it'll get to a point where they're arguing, and
I'm sure.
I mean, it gets ugly, because, like the original documentary for me and for a lot of people that they ever watched on the West Memphis 3 was Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
It's an HBO documentary. If you haven't seen them, there's 3 of them. They're amazing. They're really good. They but they're an entertainment documentary.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get every single fact out of this documentary.
Right.
So people have based their opinion on this case with those documentaries.
Right.
Instead of looking like I said, that Callahan site is going to show you all of the transcriptions of every interview they did. Like there's people you don't even know of that they interviewed, because you're basing your knowledge of that case on an HBO 3-part series. So this guy put it perfectly. They were arguing in this post last night about guilty or innocent, and this girl was like, I know that they're innocent because they ain't got no evidence whatsoever, blah blah blah. And this guy was like, that's not true. I mean, all you have to do is go to, and he brought up the Callahan site, and you can read all the evidence they have. She was like, well, it ain't gonna change my mind. He was like, well, that's fine. He's like, but I don't watch, this was his words, I don't watch Die Hard and think that's how all Christmases are. Like, that's a good point. I mean, you're really looking at an entertainment documentary for that. But
that's good stuff.
So yeah, I'm back on the West Memphis 3 rabbit hole.
Nice.
So if you don't see me for like 2 weeks, I come back and I'm all strung out and beard grown out. It's because I got stuck in the West Memphis 3 rabbit hole. So today we're going to talk about a gentleman by the name of Joseph Christopher.
Now, before we do that, though, do we have any new Patreons?
We actually do.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we have a new patron by the name of Shannon.
Oh, thank you, Shannon.
So welcome to the Evil Mob, Shannon.
Yes.
The upper tier of Patreon.
Yep.
It's pretty awesome. So we appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks.
So this episode is for you, Shannon.
It is.
So let's dive right in. Buckle up, Evil Mob, as we discuss Joseph Christopher. Joseph Gerard Christopher was born on July 26, 1955 in Buffalo, New York. He was the son of Nicholas and Therese Christopher. His father was a maintenance worker with the city's sanitation department, and his mother was a registered nurse at Deaconess Hospital. Christopher also had 3 sisters, 2 of which were older than him. So it seems like he comes from a pretty good family.
Oh, yeah.
Working
Sounds like
class
it.
family.
Yeah.
Joseph adored his father and spent much of his time with him. As a young man, he helped his father build a 3-room cabin on a plot of land his father had bought in Ellington, New York. Joseph's father, Nicholas, was an avid outdoorsman, and he taught Joseph how to shoot and handle weapons at an early age. Now, that's not very uncommon.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? As an outdoorsman, and teaching your young son how to shoot and handle weapons. I think if you have weapons in your house and you are a pro Second Amendment person, starting your kids young to learn how to handle them and shoot them
safely
is a good idea. So I don't want that to come off as, old Grady's starting a serial killer. Here we go.
Yeah.
Joseph Christopher attended parish classes at a Roman Catholic church before enrolling in public school. In 1971, Joseph entered the automotive mechanics program at Burgard Vocational High School. He would, however, drop out in 1974. After dropping out of school, Joseph started bouncing around from job to job, performing odd jobs for neighbors and working for a furnace repairman, kind of following in his father's steps as a maintenance man, pretty much. But tragedy would soon come to Joseph Christopher's life when in 1976 his father passed away.
Ooh.
So you can assume this has probably weighed heavily on him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Considering he adored his father and spent a lot of his time with him.
Yep.
Joseph Christopher started a home repair business with a friend, but the business never took off and eventually failed. Joseph would then try to join the army, but was not accepted because he had a hernia. In late 1977, Joseph took a job as an unarmed security guard for Buffalo's American Brass Company. In early 1978, he moved on and found work as a maintenance man for Canisius College. While working at Canisius College, Joseph met and fell in love with a gun club instructor. He had a love for firearms.
Apparently, yeah.
He was like, hey, baby, I like the way you handle that firearm there. Joseph joined the club and even applied for an NRA certificate as a pistol instructor himself. Joseph thought he was a real gunslinger by then and thought it was a good idea to carry his gun on campus while working as a maintenance man.
Oh, wow.
You never know, I might have to shoot this furnace if it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
This got him in hot water when a college security guard caught him carrying the weapon. In late 1978, Joseph Christopher called it quits with the gun instructor he had the relationship with. After this, many recall Joseph acting weird as if something was troubling him. Not long after, Joseph had an argument with one of his co-workers over a stolen knife. Joseph was adamant that he had not stolen anything. However, he eventually found the knife under the seat of his own truck. So whether he stole it and didn't know he did, or it was planted in his truck, it's just an odd situation.
Yeah.
In 1979, Joseph Christopher was fired by Canisius College when he was caught sleeping on the job.
Uh-oh.
That'll do it.
Yes, it will.
After losing his job, Joseph Christopher moved back home with his mother and then started drinking heavily and had his gun permit suspended for unknown reasons after informing the police that he had lost his weapon.
Oh, no.
I mean, so that may be the reason.
Yeah.
So you can't really say unknown reasons. Hey, I lost my gun.
It's
and
never
like,
good.
Maybe you're not a very good gun owner. If you just lost it. I mean, it's not like it got stolen. You just lost it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
During the same time, Joseph Christopher noticed his mental health was slipping. So he actually knows something is wrong. And in September of 1980, he goes to the Buffalo Psychiatric Center to try and get help. I mean, this is huge. A man who knows something is not, mentally right.
Yeah, taking action.
He's taking action and going to seek help to, to get better.
Right.
And what happens? He's turned away and told because he wasn't a danger to himself or others, he could not be admitted.
Wow.
Now, this was actually common practice at that time. When a psychiatric center was being downsized or whatever, they would if you're not a serious case, we can't admit you because we don't have the staff.
Okay.
That's not going to be a good thing.
Nope.
They did, however, recommend that he sought counseling and therapy instead. Boy, were they wrong. Just 2 weeks after he was turned away from the center, all hell broke loose in Joseph Christopher's mind. On September 22nd in Buffalo, New York, a 14-year-old African-American named Glenn Dunn was shot twice and killed. The following day, on September 23rd, 32-year-old Harold Green was shot and killed in Cheektowaga, and 30-year-old Emmanuel Thomas was shot and killed in Buffalo. The day after that, September 24th, 1980, 43-year-old Joseph McCoy was shot and killed in Niagara Falls. So 2 weeks after being turned away from the psychiatric center, he goes on a 3-day killing spree that takes 4 lives. But we're just getting started.
Oh, great.
Witnesses to the crimes described a white youth who committed the shootings. All 4 victims were African American, and all 4 were shot with a .22 caliber sawed-off rifle.
Wow.
I have, this is the first time I've ever heard of someone sawing off a .22 rifle.
Yeah, me too.
The press nicknamed the attacker the .22 caliber killer. But Joseph Christopher would need another nickname soon. In Buffalo, New York, the killing spree caused fear to run through the African American community, which claimed there was non-existent police protection for them in their community. Rumors of a paramilitary white supremacist organization committing genocide on the African American community in Buffalo was also a big rumor. A special task force was assigned with helping solve the case, but before anything good could happen, things got worse. Between October 8th and 9th of 1980, 2 more African American men were slain. Parler Edwards, 71 years old, was killed in Cheektowaga, and 40-year-old Ernest Jones was killed in Buffalo. Both men were cab drivers, taxi drivers, and they appeared to have been beaten to death and their hearts cut out.
What?
Yeah. On October 10th, Colin Cole, a 37-year-old African-American man, was almost strangled to death by an unknown assailant. Cole survived, and witness descriptions matched the .22 caliber killer. Joseph, however, would later deny this attack. During the attack, the attacker told Cole he, quote, hated black people. The FBI became involved, and the legendary FBI profiler John Douglas traveled to Buffalo to assist local authorities. So if you ever watched the show Mindhunters,
great show
on Netflix, the main character, Holden Ford, is based loosely on John Douglas.
And speaking of that, I know we've talked about it before. They need to create another season.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, they have to finish that out. But that's who Holden Ford is based on. I mean, it's a great show.
It is.
I love it.
Good stuff.
But that's who Holden Ford is based on, is John Douglas. So that's pretty cool little side note.
Yep.
But back to insanity. On November 13th, 1980, Joseph Christopher did something mind-boggling. He finally managed to enlist in the U.S. Army and was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia.
So how'd that happen?
He was like, this killing's not doing what I need. I need to join the Army.
Wow.
And he got in.
But didn't he get denied earlier because of a hernia? Because
of a hernia. Apparently it got better.
It just disappeared?
He had, it got better.
Interesting.
Some hernias will heal on their own.
Yeah.
But, they was like, come on in. But it's just odd to me that this spree killer.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could classify him as a serial killer yet. I mean, you've got the gap in time, but it's pretty much been a steady flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's like, just one day he's like, I'm going to try and join the Army again.
Crazy.
And nothing's red flagged, like, maybe we got to look into this guy or whatever. So, he's gotten away with everything so far.
Mm-hmm.
So this is stuff you can't make up.
Yeah, right.
I went and killed a bunch of people and then joined the Army.
Yeah.
Shortly after being stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia, Joseph Christopher was given a Christmas furlough from the Army, and he traveled to Manhattan, New York City. Joseph arrived there on December 20th, and 2 days later, he started a new trend which earned him his next nickname. Over a 12-and-a-half-hour span, 6 men, 5 African American and 1 Hispanic were stabbed. 4 of the 6 men, 19-year-old Luis Rodriguez, 30-year-old Anthony Davis, 20-year-old Richard Renner, and an unknown-aged Carl Ramsey, were all killed in stabbing attacks.
Wow.
2 men, 25-year-old John Adams and 32-year-old Ivan Frazier, survived their attacks. And with these attacks, the Midtown Slasher was born. So this guy's got 2 cool nicknames now.
Yeah, right.
The 22 caliber killer and the Midtown Slasher.
Yeah.
That's a first for our show.
Yeah, it is.
2 complete opposite nicknames. I mean, we've had stories where guys have had multiple nicknames, or females have had multiple nicknames. But a 22 caliber killer and the Midtown Slasher just sounds like 2 opposite people.
It does.
Joseph Christopher then fled Manhattan and headed back to Buffalo, new nickname and all. But the killing doesn't stop. On December 29th, 31-year-old Roger Adams was stabbed to death in Buffalo, New York. On December 30th, 26-year-old Wendell Barnes was stabbed in Rochester, New York. He would survive his attack. Now on December 31st, a man named Albert Menifee was stabbed in Buffalo, but he survived. However, again, Joseph Christopher was later adamant that he did not commit this attack. I mean, it definitely fits his MO.
Yeah, right.
And it's in his area, but he said it wasn't him. The new year did not come without its share of violence either. On January 1st, 1981 in Buffalo, New York, 2 men, Larry Little and Calvin Crippen, were both attacked but survived with just minor injuries. Then it was back to the U.S. Army at Fort Benning, Georgia. So, once again, furlough's over, I gotta go back to the Army.
Wow.
So I mean, but we think we're safer with him being in the Army and out of, civilian life.
Right, yeah.
But that's not gonna happen.
Uh-oh.
Because Joseph Christopher's violent tendencies joined him in the Army as well.
It's not good.
On January 18th, 1981, Joseph Christopher attacked a fellow soldier, Leonard Coles, with a knife. Coles was an African-American man as well. While in custody, Joseph attempted suicide with a razor and revealed during a subsequent psychiatric session that he, quote, had to kill blacks.
Wow.
This sent up huge red flags to the authorities, and before long, they were searching Joseph Christopher's former residence near Buffalo, where they found 22 caliber ammunition, a gun barrel, and a sawed-off Ruger 10/22 rifle.
Nice.
In April of 1981, Joseph Christopher was indicted for committing the 22 caliber shootings, plus the stabbings that occurred in Buffalo through December 29th and January 1st. In New York City, he was indicted on just 2 of the knife attacks attributed to the Midtown Slasher. He was returned back to Buffalo for his trial on May 8th, 1981. By October 1981, Joseph Christopher waived his right to a jury trial and chose to represent himself.
Oh, wow.
That always goes well.
Yeah. Genius.
2 months later, he was found incompetent to stand trial. This ruling, however, was overturned. He was convicted on 3 charges of first-degree murder and sentenced to 60 years to life. That sounds like a very light
light
penalty.
sentence.
Light sentence
that's ridiculous.
for 3 first-degree murder charges. Now, the fact they only got him for 3 is also odd, but
I don't get it.
at least they got him for something.
True.
In July 1985, his conviction was overturned on grounds that the first judge had improperly barred testimony pointing towards mental incompetence. But 3 months later, New York City stepped to the plate and a jury rejected his insanity plea, convicting him of 2 of the stabbings in New York City. He was sentenced to life in prison at Attica Correctional Facility. Joseph Christopher admitted to the press of being responsible for at least 13 out of 17 attacks. Although he never admitted to the murders of the men beaten to death and their hearts removed publicly, he had indeed confessed to them to psychiatrists and to the authorities, but were never charged with those crimes.
Wow.
Joseph Christopher denied being responsible for the attempted strangulation of Colin Cole and the non-fatal stabbing of Albert Menifee. Those are the 2 that he was like, nah, I didn't do those.
Oh, yeah.
But they fit. I mean, they fit the MO, they fit the timeline.
Right. Oh, I'm sure he did them.
On March 1st, 1993, Joseph Christopher died in prison due to a rare form of male breast cancer.
Really? That is rare.
That is, I mean, he kind of got what he deserved.
Yeah. Hopefully he suffered.
It's just crazy. But all this, what makes you mad about the whole story is this guy went to a psychiatric hospital to get help before any of the murders happened. Before any violent crimes happened, he goes to a psychiatric hospital like something's not right. You know, I'm having these tendencies and you know, and they were like, oh, you're good. Just go see a counselor once a week.
It's just like the other situations where they go ahead and let them out early. Oh, you know, they're fine. And look what happens every time.
It seems like a lot of the cases, and we've touched on it before, a lot of the cases that we cover is somebody dropped the ball somewhere along the road. And like I said, it wasn't an uncommon thing for that time period if, you know, they were downsizing the hospital or they didn't have the resources or the staff to turn away less, I don't know the best word for it, but the less threatening of the group or whatever, however you want to put it. But they were wrong on that one for sure.
Definitely.
It's like we were discussing earlier about the guy that was involved in the shooting, the mass shooting that ended up, I think a couple, maybe 3 people or a few people got killed in the shooting, and they put that dude on house arrest.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, man.
Nope.
When I hear something like that, like, yeah, he's on house arrest, they got an ankle bracelet on. But when I read an article about that, they did bring up a case that we'd covered before.
Oh, really?
Reagan Tokes, which happened here.
Yeah.
If you remember the one where the girl was killed in Scioto Grove. They brought up the Reagan Tokes law where they have to keep track of these guys now that have the ankle bracelets on, and somebody is responsible for making sure that these people are kept track of.
Good.
So.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, I killed a few people in a mass shooting, and I'm on house arrest.
Yeah.
Until my trial.
It's ridiculous.
That is your story for today, Mr. Joseph. The Midtown Slasher, aka 22 caliber killer.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Two nicknames, 2 complete opposite killing types.
Yeah.
And the theory behind why he went from being a guy that would shoot people with a .22 caliber sawed-off rifle. They said he carried around like a brown paper bag. And he'd keep the rifle in the bag so people would know what he's got, so he could get close to him and then shoot him.
Oh, okay.
Basically ambush him.
Yeah.
And the theory behind him going from being the .22 caliber killer to the Midtown Slasher was that he had learned over time, the gunshot is going to draw attention.
Yeah.
So when he goes to Manhattan, where there's lots more people than what there are in Buffalo, New York, to reduce the chance of getting caught, he went to a less noisy way of doing his murders. So what do you got for me, Rex?
All right. If you haven't done so, go to our Facebook page, give us a like. Any comments, questions, or ideas, you can email us at eviltransgression@gmail.com. Dustin?
I need reviews. Make sure...
I'm sick.
I'm so sick. Make sure you leave reviews on Apple and all that stuff. What about you, Josh? Well, if you go to eviltransgression.com, you can purchase merchandise.
Yes, merch.
You can join our Patreon there. You can see some faces of the Evil Mob. If you are not on the Faces of the Evil Mob yet, send us a picture of you in your Evil Transgression or Evil Mob gear.
Yep.
And we'll put you up there.
We will.
Represent the Evil Mob.
Represent.
Hit that tip jar. Leave us a couple bucks.
Yep.
For wings.
Oh, yeah. We still need to do that.
And all that good stuff.
Yep. Definitely.
So until next time.
See ya.
See ya. Peace.